Valerie's drinking coffee. You got a beanie on. I mean, this is looking pretty legit. It's actually like hot and windy out where I am in Southern California today, ironically enough. All right, I'm going to get started even a minute early. So, welcome to an art business workshop. My name is Patrick. Run the marketing department here at Art Storefronts. Art Storefronts. I've been doing that for a number of years now, and we can get into the agenda for the day. So, I have like a high level sort of who we are, what we do demo video that I recorded like a week ago or 2 weeks ago now, and it's good. It'll do a much better job sort of explaining who we are, what we do than I would doing it live. It was a good version. It goes like 18 minutes. And so we'll play that. That should answer the majority of the questions about who we are, what we do, the software, the packages. Anything else that you have, we can get right into on the other side of that. But also, I'd love for you guys to think about what are the biggest struggles that you have in your business? Where's your business now? Have you been an artist, photographer your whole life, but never tried to sell anything, and you're trying to figure out whether or not your work will sell? I want to hear about that. Are you an artist or photographer that was doing well and got crushed as a result of the lovely pandemic that we're living through, and that's changed everything? Are you having questions about pricing or print on demand or niche selection or whether you should do commissions, whether you should do prints at all, or if you're struggling with any other aspect of your art business? I've been saying this the last couple of weeks, but I think it's true. I usually run 3 of these things a week, and then I usually run 2 of them a week for our customer base. And I'm not kidding when I say this. I think I talk to more artists and photographers on a week in and week out basis than any other human being on the planet. I'd actually like to find somebody that does more. Point being, I hear of a whole lot of problems. I hear a whole lot of issues, and I think I'd probably have some pretty good insight for you. And you couple the fact I'm good at marketing, been doing that for a long time. That's everybody's biggest problem. Number one. Number two, I talk to that many artists and photographers. Number three, I have data on 4,700 customers, and I look at the ones that are selling and I look at the ones that are not selling, and it's really clear what's working and what's not. So I got a lot of insights, and I'd love to help you out, regardless if you ever become a customer or not. So if you've got questions that you're really struggling with, save them for afterwards. I want to talk to them. It doesn't matter whether it's about us in the slightest. Love to just kind of hear where you're at and what's going on. So, all right, we dive into the video, and then, oh yeah, if you're on Facebook or Twitter or YouTube, any of the social venues where we're streaming, if you've got questions, you can of course ask those, and then I'll tell you guys how to raise your hand in Zoom after we get through the video. But April, go ahead and start the video, and I'll see you guys in a few minutes. This is the homepage I'm talking about that we just like recently redid, and I think it does a really good job articulating sort of who we are, what we do at a very high level. And if you scroll down the page, there's a bunch of videos and me explaining a whole bunch of things, everything that we do from top to bottom. But our tagline, which states everything that you need to start, run, and grow a successful art business, really does sum up what we do. We get pigeonholed as they're a website company. They're a website company. And yes, we do offer websites, but it is a tiny, tiny portion of what we do. Ultimately, we learned a couple of years ago, the hard way, by the way, if we are going to grow and be successful as a business, art storefronts, that is 100% dependent, surprise this one, but on how successful our customers are, on how much art and photography our customers are selling on a yearly basis. And so when you look at that as the problem that we're solving, it becomes so much more than a website, because a website is not enough. But still, we're going to talk about the website. I'm going to get into the other layers as we go down. So it does indeed all start with the website. I will pull one up because it'll make it more interactive. And, anyone that's been attempting to sell art or photography for any period of time, I'll use Bono today, they know one thing conclusively: selling art in an e-commerce capacity digitally online is not like selling other items. It's not like selling swim fins or ladies' handbags or electric scooters or bicycles or anything else, right? Buying art, okay, and buying art online is A, an extremely visual process, and B, an extremely friction-filled process. And what do I mean by friction? I mean, friction is all of the various different things, okay, that will prevent a visitor to your website from turning into a buyer, okay? And so really everything that we do with our software
is attempt to solve for this friction, okay? To solve for the friction, to solve for how important the visual aspects are towards selling art and photography online. And it's never any one feature. It's all of the features working together. It can be little things like when you select a media type, which is canvas, it changes to a canvas, a gallery wrapped canvas. Most people don't even know what a canvas is. And so we've developed special videos that show the differences, the nuances in the real world, what an actual canvas print looks like, what's going to show up at their house, what are the high points of this one, is canvas different than metal. Oops, I missed a click on that. And so you can see what a metal print looks like and how it's sitting flat, eventually how it's hanging up, all the nuances, the intricacies, because it is such a visual process buying art. We have a feature called the wall preview, which allows you to cycle through various different room types. Again, such a visual process buying art. Not only can you circle through the different room types, and yes, you can add your own room type images in. We use some generic ones by design, and you can size pieces up and down, see what it's going to look like. Do I need a 36 by 49? Is that too big? Do I instead want a 28 by 38? We're making it easier for your potential customer to get to a buying decision. What if they want to, their walls aren't white, right? What if they're this ugly color? Or there's something a little bit darker? Is the piece going to look good with this color, right? Because again, buying art is just such an incredibly visual process. Another feature that everybody likes to talk about that we get a lot of plaudits for is
Here we
we
are
have this
on
feature,
artist and art.
excuse me, mute that, called live preview with AR, okay? And what this is this allows somebody to come to your website with their telephone, can be iPhone or Android. You can see the phones here on the right-hand side. And without downloading any apps, they can just use their phone, their camera, and press one button on your website that says live preview. And what this is going to do, it's going to take the camera on their phone, okay, which is going to show the real room, the real wall, where the art will potentially go. And then it takes your piece in augmented reality and it projects it onto the wall. And you're able to move it around with your finger. You're able to size it up, size it down, take screenshots. And so, is it going to look great in the room? What size do I need to get, right? And so, again, this is attempting to solve for the visual friction of I don't know if it's going to work in my room. I don't know what it's going to look like, right? It's just getting them one step closer to a buying decision, removing the friction from the process. And, you know, I've been doing e-commerce marketing, digital marketing my entire life. Everyone loves to gravitate towards the wall preview or the live preview with AR. But the reality is when you do this for any period of time, it's not about one individual feature. It's about all the features working in conjunction. And you never know which one's going to end up, if we think of a sports analogy like a basketball team, it's how many players you have on the court that can contribute, right, to eventually scoring that basket. And so it's why we do the demo process. We have literally hundreds and hundreds of features, all to remove the friction, all to help you get better at selling art and photography online. And when you request one of these things, our outreach team will reach out, have a conversation with you, and schedule it. It goes like an hour and 10 minutes, and we just go through feature after feature after feature. So it's not about any one of them; it's about all of them working in conjunction. Independent of that, let's keep working down the page. So we also have a ton of backend software. It turns out running an art business, art photography business, there's a ton of individual little nuance and things that can slow you down. Okay, things like uploading an image and how many images do you have to upload to your web page for all the various different media sizes and types you have. It's very helpful to be able to just upload one, have all the sizes auto-populate for you, and tell you exactly what you can sell. Things like markups. How do you set markups? Can you do it globally? Can you do it per media type, right? And so no one likes to talk about the back end features, but we have a slew of those as well, all there to make your life easier, to give you time back. Okay. Um, let's talk about our fulfillment. And we love talking about this. This is in our company DNA pretty significantly, but I'll pull up a website. So we're on Bill Stidham's site. Or I should probably start here actually. So we are integrated. Well, let me start here. You can have it any which way you like. If you're an artist that just does originals and you get orders, obviously you're going to be responsible for fulfilling the originals because you have them. If you're an artist that has a local printer or a photographer that has a local printer, you really like using your printer, you can use your printer. The orders come in, you send the order to your printer. We call that self fulfillment, no problem. What we recommend our customers do, though, is integrate with one of our print partners, and I'll get into the reasons why. But we've got Graphic Dimensions on the East Coast, we've got Bay Photo on the West Coast, we've got Print Partner for our customers in Canada, and then we just recently integrated with a company called Guten that handles the merchandise, and I'll get into that in a second. How does it work? You sign up, you get your site set up, which usually takes 14 days or less. You click a button that says, I want to integrate with this print partner. An order comes into the website. The printer gets paid. You get paid. The order gets printed. The order gets boxed. Your logo goes on the side of the box. Boom, it ships to the customer. You touch absolutely nothing. There's nothing you have to touch, nothing you have to do. All happens automatically. And again, it's to give you back that amount of time. And you know, no one has time in today's day and age to be dealing with the admin. Okay. Any time that you spend on the admin, by which I mean sending the order to your local printer, uh, uh, checking on the proof, sending tracking numbers, did it ship, any of that correspondence, all of that, if you're spending your time on that, is time you are not spending on your biggest problem, which is your marketing. So we really believe like streamlining sort of this drop shipping, print on demand, automated fulfillment is a very, very wise decision if you want to create successful artists and photographers. Now, just recently, this was probably what, like a month before Christmas, maybe, we integrated with a company called Guten. And what it allows our customers to do is sell merchandise of a myriad of different kinds. Hoodies, iPhone cases, tank tops. They can come in, adjust the image exactly how they want to see it. Maybe they want to tilt it depending on what case it is, and get iPhone cases and a number of different other items. We've got throw pillows and I clicked out of it, and coffee mugs, and we're adding more and more and more and more of these. And on the subject of merch, we realize again, if you go back to our original mission, why we exist, we need to create a set of circumstances, a set of conditions such that the artist, the photographer can make and grow as successful a business as they want. And so some artists look at this merch and they're like, they turn their noses up at it and like, that's not fine art. Why would I ever want to do that? Some are like, I'm all in, I love it. We don't care. Our job is to provide as many different opportunities for artists and photographers to be successful as possible. And we've been totally blown away by how much of this stuff actually, believe it or not, sells. And some of it is higher margin than you would think. Like a throw pillow is $44, and what does a tote bag cost? I think a tote bag costs $38. So sell it or not, you have every opportunity imaginable available to you. If you want to have it all, in kind of like Bill does here on his site, where you have your fine art media types across the top, and then you have the merch all in one product page. Great. If you want to have individual items in the store, you want to have your artwork, fine, and then you just want to have a line of phone cases. If you want to have one for a couple of weeks and then turn it off, you can do any and all of that, and it's one click to turn it on at any point in time. It's automated. It's completely automated in terms of fulfillment, and that's not going to change. And we realize again, like artists and photographers are essentially just creators, right? You're just creators, and you have a talent. You have a talent with a brush, or you have a talent with the lens. You want to monetize that talent. Okay. So again, our job is to give you as many different opportunities to be able to monetize that talent as possible. So that's how we go about it. And again, it's a debate about when to use it or when not. But somebody on one of these sessions earlier was like, who's the greatest rock band of all time? I was like, no, who? He's like, the Rolling Stones. He goes, guess what the Rolling Stones have at their concerts? I said, what? A giant booth for merch. He's like, they sell hundreds of thousands of dollars of it a year. If the Stones sell it, I'll sell it. So anyway, I thought that kind of stuck with me. It was fun. So that's our print fulfillment. And I should say too that we're adding calendars and we're adding puzzles and we are adding photo books. And to be honest with you, if they come out with a line of hot air balloons, we'll add hot air balloons too, right? Because again, it's creating a set of circumstances such that the artist and photographer can be successful. We don't care where the success comes from. I don't care if Brian gets into business and he's the number one iPhone selling case guy of the entire United States. He's got a successful business, right? So not for us to decide. Support. We believe we have best in class support. If you took a look at our Facebook ads and you scrolled through the 350 of them, you'll see more positive responses for the support than just about anything else. We're very, very good at this. Yes, it's in all the venues you think it is: email, phone, chat support. But in addition to that, kind of what I'm most proud about is we run 6 days a week, including Saturdays, Zoom sessions, just like the one you're on right now. Okay. And you can pop into one at any point in time with any support related issue and get fixed, get unstuck. There's screen shares. They can take over control of your computer and just get you sorted instantaneously. So we're very, very good at it. Not only do we support our application, we ask you guys, we teach you guys marketing all year long, which I'll get into in a second. What if you're having a problem with Facebook or with Instagram or with MailChimp or with your Facebook ads? We actually support that too. You can pop into a Zoom session and say, hey, Patrick, I'm stuck on my Facebook ads. I'm getting this message. Can you help me? And our team will get you unstuck. That's an amazing thing. There's not many companies that do that. So I'm very, very proud about that. That's in terms of the overall website picture. And we essentially do all of that, okay, to give you your time back such that you can work on the biggest problem that every single solitary person on this Zoom call has, which is their marketing problem. You need to get better at it. And let me tell you, I've got 4,700 customers, and there's only one universal truth about every one of them, right? Every niche imaginable, every subject matter, all over this country and others. Every one of them has a marketing problem. The person that just past $500,000 a year in sales has a marketing problem. They want to grow that business, they have a marketing problem. The person that just is getting started, sold their first piece, they have a marketing problem, and everybody in between, right? It is the biggest problem. And so, we want to create successful customers. We realize we need to teach artists and photographers how to market. And so how did we solve for that particular problem? We created collectively what might as well be called the Art Business University. That's how we look at it, because I'm not sure there's a better term to explain it. One, we have the best digital education that exists in terms of selling art and photography online, full stop. I'm hang my hat on this. We have detailed documentation that we call playbooks on every marketing facet imaginable. How to run an email campaign, how to run a Black Friday sale, how to go live on Instagram, how to go live on Instagram and Facebook at the same time, how to go live on Instagram and Facebook at the same time with your laptop on a cell phone. Detailed, step-by-step, audio, video, screenshot documentation. If we're asking you to send emails, we will give you the email copy. You just adjust it to taste for what you're doing. So the playbooks are incredible. They're very robust, and they're very focused on teaching you how to market. We pair that with a 365-day-a-year marketing calendar, okay? It has on it beginner, intermediate, and advanced. You take on what you can take on. You're never not knowing what you need to be doing on a week in, week out basis. You start doing, first, you're overwhelmed. You're like, I've never done this. This is crazy. How am I going to survive? And then you fight through it, and you got through the beginner level, and then you take on the intermediate, and then you take on the advanced. The majority of our customers follow this doggone near verbatim year in, year out, because it works. It's effective. Not only does it tell you what to do, but it solves for one of the other greatest pandemic of our lifetime, the shiny object syndrome, okay? Not only does the calendar tell you what to do, it tells you what not to do, okay? What not to be spending your time on, right? And how do I know this? One, I'm very good at digital marketing. Two, we have 4,700 customers, and I get to see all of their data. I can tell everyone on this call conclusively, out of the 4,700 customers that I have not seen anyone turn a positive ROI out of marketing on Pinterest. No one is making any money from marketing on Pinterest. So I'm going to tell you, you don't have to worry about Pinterest. I see you laughing, Mary. I do not want you spending any time on Pinterest, period. Waste of time. So too with SEO, okay? So the calendar is equally powerful on what you need to focus on is what you ignore, okay? Is what you ignore, and that's a big deal. Number 3 of the Art Business University is what we call office hours, okay? We take the entire customer base, we split it into 3. Until you sell $2,000 directly on your website, you're in the traction group. And after you sold $2,000 on your website, you're in the ramping group. After you sold a much higher revenue threshold that we don't publish, you get in the advanced group, which we call growth. We hold week in, week out, every single solitary week, and we took 1 week off for New Year's, but essentially 48, 49 weeks a year. Zoom calls like this. You come on a weekly basis. It's either me or members of my team. We go over the playbooks, we go over the calendars, we talk about wins, how somebody landed an interior decorator and sold $35,000 worth. They're going to come on and tell their story. Not only are they going to come on and tell their story, they're going to say, here's the email that did it, here's the copy, here's the Facebook post, and you can go and look at that stuff, right? And you're learning in concert with your peers. Digital online education is not enough, okay? If you look at the stats out there, I don't care who it is, Kajabi or Masterclass or lynda.com, 30% of the people that buy those courses actually finish them. So we can't just have digital education. We have to have in-person teaching sessions, and everyone knows how to Zoom now. It's our new reality. So those sessions, which we started like, I think 2 weeks, 3 weeks ahead of the pandemic, have been the single solitary biggest fundamental change to our business we've ever had. If before the pandemic, I had 100 customers, and I told those 100 customers via email, guys, Black Friday's coming. You got to get going on your sale. Here's the playbook, right? And then I recorded a podcast episode, and I was like, we're going to do this. 35 out of the 100 would take action. After these video sessions where I'm able to go through things, people are able to ask their questions, raise their hands, get unstuck, learn your peers. I have 75 people taking action on that sale, and it's fundamentally changing the business. It is making our customers more successful, more accountable, actually staying focused. Like, look, you guys are all solopreneurs for the most part. I mean, we could pull this entire group, and not a lot of you guys have a big team. You don't have an office behind you where you're yelling at an intern to help you out. You are a solopreneur, okay? Myself, the CEO, we've been entrepreneurs our entire life. I know it's a roller coaster. I know there's highs and the lows. When you're on those lows, you need a kick in the pants, right? You need to be lifted up sometimes. And that's what these Zoom sessions do too, which is incredible. We follow it up with a Facebook group that is highly curated. Okay. There's no trolls. There's no nonsense in there, right? You've seen some of the other groups out there online and how ridiculous it gets in those things. And artists are sharing with other artists, photographers are sharing with other photographers, the people that are in the landscape niche are talking to others in the landscape niche. Hey guys, what do you think of this new direction? What did you use in terms of pricing? They're publishing their wins. And so sometimes you can't just hear it from us, the official company mouthpiece. And so it's nice to have a whole bunch of people that are doing this same journey at the same time, helping each other out, sharing, what are you doing here? What are you doing there? So that collectively is the Art Business University. And it's like a college. It really is. And the difference is you pay your tuition, you come in, and there's no graduates because the learning never stops, right? And in addition to that, it never will stop. In today's digital marketing landscape, the goalposts are just constantly moving, right? Like so quickly, you feel like you just learned something and it moves over here. So we keep you up to date with all of that. As a final, about 6 months ago, or maybe 5 months ago now, we started an in-house marketing agency. And it's an in-house marketing agency that only does one thing. It helps artists and photographers sell more art online and off. And we believe already, as of current today's date, it's the biggest sole-focused art and photography marketing agency in the world. And that's not hyperbole. I've been asking on these calls, can someone name me an agency that specializes only in helping artists and photographers sell their work? I haven't found one. No one's ever put one in the chat for me, especially not a big one. Why? Because my aforementioned point, selling art and photography is not like selling swim thins or ladies' handbags or scooters. It's hard, right? It's really hard. And we're good at it because we've been working at it for a long time. Also, I get upset, right? Because I look at all of you guys as like, you own a McDonald's, right? And if you owned a McDonald's, you have to know how to do the ordering. You have to know how to clean the floors. You have to know how to open the building. You have to know how to operate the drive-through window. You have to be able to flip burgers and fries and do all of that and do the ordering, right? Like it's your business. You need to understand those things. But at the same time, I'm not naive in the sense that 80% of our customers still have full-time jobs or in some capacity. Maybe they're service-based photographers and they're trying to sell their fine art. So I get it. You need to be able to have the ability. If you don't have the time to do the marketing and you have the resources, you need a la carte things that you can jump off the shelf. Hey guys, I need my Instagram profile tuned up. I need my Facebook page tuned up. I need to help with a sales campaign. You need to be able to do that sometimes. In addition to things like we'll completely build your website for you. You don't want to do that. You hate building websites. Your fears in life, in order, are death, taxes, and building another website. I get that. I get that, right? So you can drop your images in a folder, tell us to build the site, we'll build the site for you, okay? We'll manage your Facebook ads, okay? We will manage all of your social posting. And again, it goes back to the top premise. Like our job is to create successful customers. And so we looked at it 6 months ago and it's like, we need to have an agency. And then some people are like, well, I want to do it myself. Fantastic. Our job is to have the best DIY product, do it yourself, learn, come on the sessions, and then also have an agency where you can pay. And again, it's a la carte or it's, almost full service. And the amazing thing about it is, I've been doing marketing a long time, right? What do all marketers love? A case study. Oh, we love a case study, right? With the sexy data about this huge win, and we publish it on social media and we use it for lead generation. So totally did that all the time. Okay. Guilty, and if you lose, you don't publish it, right? You wait till you hit a winner and do all that. But it used to be, I would go and run a case study with a customer and, I'd have limited bandwidth to do that. And then we would build the playbooks. Well, guess what I have now? I've got agency staff. I've got one guy that all he does all day long is spruce up Instagram pages for artists and photographers. He did 65 of them last week, or probably 65 last month. So imagine the learnings that we're getting. What happens is the learnings are going right back into the playbooks, and then they're coming onto the Zoom sessions and they're teaching, and we've got a little flywheel going on, right? We've got a little artist and photographer education flywheel. So it doesn't matter if you ever order a single solitary service from the agency. And we don't even care if the agency ever makes any money, in all honesty, because all it does is just improves the product, makes more successful customers, and helps us grow. So we really, at the end of the day, are fundamentally a business that can be thought of as a rowboat, right? It takes our oar, your oar. We jump in the boat in the same time, and if we can get that thing rowing in the same direction, the faster we can get that going, the better everybody does. So that's art storefronts in a nutshell. That's my presentation.
And it ends on the rowboat metaphor. Okay, so I'll rant for a second, and then we can open it up to Q&A. How do you ask a question? Whole bunch of different ways. One, there's like a little participants icon at the bottom of the Zoom window. You click on that, and it gives you the ability to digitally raise your hand, not in real life, digitally, and that'll let me know you have a question. And I usually just work down that line. Don't feel like you need to be on video if you don't want to be on video. If you just want to do audio, that's fine. I get it. I hate being on video. It's just the nature of the biz these days. If you want to leave a question in the chat, you can do that, and I can get those. And if you're on any of the socials, you can just type a question in there, and I will answer those ones too. But yeah, love to hear where you are. You know, it's been a wild sort of pandemic for the lack of a better reason. Like art and photography sales have actually been one of the winners out of this whole thing. You know, there's winners and there's losers. And, you know, it's very easy to understand who the losers are. Any live event, any sporting event, bars, restaurants, right? But one of the winners has been art and photography as a result of it being in the home decor category. Everyone is staying home. They're not going back to their offices. They're spending enough time at home that they want to spruce it up and improve it. So everything in home decor is just exploding right now, which is sort of insane. Has been for a while, and it's home decor to macro. It's construction. It's putting a swimming pool in the backyard. It's anything that Wayfair sells. Wayfair is like the Amazon home decor stuff. It's streaming equipment and office chairs and Sonos and everything. So that's been sort of a huge benefit, I think, to the situation that we're in. You couple in the fact that, you know, depending on which wizard of smart you talk to, 10 years of e-commerce adoption, meaning, you know, if $100 are spent, what percentage is spent via e-commerce versus what percentage is spent going into like a, you know, a store. And 10 years of growth have essentially been truncated down into 4, 5, 6 months. And it doesn't look like that's changing anytime soon. So art is exploding as a result of everything in the home decor category. Doesn't look to be changing anytime soon. You know, and that is even more prevalent in the sense that people are leaving the cities. They want more space. You don't have to be geographically in a city anymore. So home sales throughout the United States are exploding, some of the highest levels they've ever seen. And ultimately, that's awesome because what is the number one beachhead of art or photography? It is blank white walls and new homes, right? Where you want to be. You have the e-commerce adoption piece, and then on the other side of the equation, you have where do you buy art or photography in today's day and age? You can't go to a local fair or show; those are all canceled, and if they're still going on, no one's going to them. What about galleries? No one's even really going to galleries anymore, right? And many of them are closed, and so you know you have the online galleries which are crowded and have a ton of competition, and you don't get to keep your customer data, or you have selling direct on your website, which is wide open. And you get to keep, you know, the customer data, and you get to keep all the money. So that's a profoundly beneficial situation for artists and photographers. Doesn't mean it's easy though, right? You got to have your own attention. You got to do your own marketing. That takes time, energy, and effort. And that's really the secret sauce. That's the number one problem that every single solitary person on this Zoom session has. You need to get better at your marketing. You need to be doing more of it. You need to have a decent sized email list. You need to be posting regularly on the socials, and you need to be emailing your list on a regular basis. You need to have a sale when the time is right. You need to understand the mechanics of a sale. And if you do all that and you stay at your marketing consistently, you have the ability to build a solid business that cannot be taken away from you no matter what happens. And that's really what we advocate for at a high level and big picture. But that's it. That's what I got in terms of a rant today. Love to open it up for your questions. One thing I would say, in April, will you get the YouTube video on pivoting and throw that into the chat? One of the things that we do, by the way, is at the end of this session, I'll send you guys all an email, and any links that we mentioned, any articles, any follow-up, any of the rest of it, we'll email you, so you don't have to feel like you have to like mark it down. But one of the other things in this just YouTube video that April's going to put in the chat is this concept of pivoting. And I don't know if anyone's ever heard that before. It's sort of a concept from, you know, the startup technorati Silicon Valley types that have pivoted, that have coined the term pivots and pivoting. But I really think you should watch that YouTube video. You know, in independent of anything else that we do, you know, we put out a ton of content, and when one piece of content really seriously resonates and gets a ton of action, it bears mentioning. And that one got a ton of listens on the podcast, a ton of everything in it, and it references, you know, most artists or photographers start out saying, here's this particular niche, here's this particular style that I like, it's what I'm passionate about, it's what creatively motivates me and inspires, and then they go and take it to market, and it doesn't sell as well as they wanted it to, and they immediately take it as criticism. And it's like, wait a minute, that means I'm a crappy artist, I'm not good with my camera, nobody likes me, right? I'm a no talent hack, and they internalize it. And a lot of times it's got nothing to do with your talent level. It has to do with you created a product that the market doesn't want. And so that is where the pivot comes in. You need to be trying new styles, new media types. There's macro pivots and micro pivots. Anyway, I go into it in that episode. It's been getting a ton of insane feedback. I really think you should check it out. So I'll email that after the fact. So again, if you want to raise the hand any which way you want, if you're on video and you want to do the old school, hey, will you call on me? I'll probably see that because there's few enough on video today. Katie asks, how much inventory should one have before jumping off? One piece, and I'll unmute you because you're asking, Katie. One piece, straight up, one piece. And the reason I say one piece, and Katie, you'll need to hit the microphone button. It's the bottom left-hand corner of your Zoom. Okay, yeah, good, got you. But let me answer your first question. So what ends up happening is, when I see this time and time again, I will just launch when I get my 15 pieces ready to go, or my 25 pieces ready to go, or my 30 or my 40 or my 50 pieces ready to go. And that means I've got to get them all professionally scanned or photographed, and then I'll go and get started my website. And what happens? The days turn into weeks, turn into months, turn into years. You have no website. You haven't started on your marketing. You haven't sold anything, right? So you launch, you need one piece to launch. And what happens when you do that? You open the store, you have the ability to take credit card, you start in on your marketing, and each additional piece you add to the store becomes a marketing moment. Hey guys, brand new piece added to the Katie Kruger art store. Come check it out, right? So you know, you need a sample literally of one. That's it.
Yeah. That's easy. I
Yep.
have a lot of canvas art
Mhm.
and like mixed media, and I'm doing resin pour stuff right now.
Okay.
And I'm in Oklahoma, so like legalization, right? So I'm trying to fuse something that's a functional need in with my art, which is like pouring like rolling trays and things like that, which I know are marketable.
Mhm.
But I didn't know how that would, trying to configure that on my own as far as how to market that. Like, hey, I sell this, and then you know, crowds are going to want different things. Like people are going to want to buy canvas art, aren't necessarily going to want to buy resin pour, rolling trays, things like that.
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. So that's another thing that artists get pigeonholed in. Like, you know, they all think that you need to have a cemented niche, right? Like Katie can only be the canvas gal, or she can be the pot smoking gal, right? You can't be both. And it's total bullshit. It's total bullshit. Okay.
Yeah.
50, like everyone thinks that, like, you know, you advertise, you know, you're the one that paints rock stars, right? And so you put an ad up for Bono and you say 50% off this day, you know, today only, you know, sale expires in 24 hours, buy my art right now. That's not how artists bought. That's not how artists sold. Maybe out of 100 purchases, 2 go that way. Like I'm flicking around on Instagram or Facebook. Oh my God, I see this amazing image and I buy it. It's not how it works. You're as much a part of the brand, you, Katie Kruger, as is what you sell. That's number one. Okay. So you know, they're going to want to know who you are, what you're into, your own little peccadillos. Are you funny? Do you have a weird dog that's always running around in the background, right? Like all of those things, your personality play is important a role in selling things, okay, as the actual quality of what you're doing. That's number one. Number two, early on, you don't know what's going to sell or what's not going to sell, right? So we say, we have our own little come to Jesus, and you say, Patrick, you're right. I don't know what's going to sell. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and throw all of this stuff that I have up against the wall, okay? And then I'm going to start marketing. And what's going to happen after you start marketing is you're going to start getting some attention. And then people are going to start asking you questions. And you might find you get 100 questions, and 90 of them are about the resin stuff, about the pot stuff, and 10% are about the canvas stuff. At that point, you can decide whether or not you think you have a pot related business or a canvas related business, or maybe it's a 60-40 or 50-50, in which case you can sell all of it, right? Like the hardest damn thing to do in today's day and age is get any revenue source working, right? And so I like that you have two different niches. I also like that you're in the pot niche, right? Because, you know, one
expanding.
one of the smartest things that you can do, and it, is alluding to this earlier with the pivoting, is like, no one does this, right? Everyone makes the art, makes the photography that speaks to them, that they feel like creatively sustains them, without ever contemplating if there's actually a market for it, right? The smart artist, the smart photographer, way easier said than done. Okay, I've screwed this up 1,000 times. You do the process in reverse, right? Instead of creating the thing and then going and taking the thing to market and seeing whether or not anyone wants it, go backwards. Go and find a diehard bunch of people and figure out how you can create something for them. Well, guess what's a diehard bunch of people? People that smoke and consume pot. Okay, these people love that stuff, right? And in a whole bunch of different ways. And so you have a diehard niche there already built in. So I like it. I like it. Go for it.
Well, it's like just like probably any other artist that's on here. It's just like we have an exploding mind of all of these ideas, because also I do like metaphysical stuff. So like ruin boards and stuff like that, poured resin molds, and I dropped stones into my rolling trays and stuff like that. But I'm just trying to figure out how to make it a seamless kind of situation, because people, if you're like,
stop, doesn't matter, doesn't matter, don't give a shit, don't tell me that's seamless nonsense. That is nonsense. All you need to do is get the store open and start marketing. That's it. Because you don't know what you don't know. You won't know until you take the products to market, right? Like I see this like happen all the time, and you get so hung up. And give me an analogy, all right? Suffer me an analogy. You and I are both cooks, right? And our eventual goal is to start a restaurant, right? And so you're smart and I'm hung up on nonsense. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to write up a business plan. And then I'm going to take my business plan and I'm going to go down to the bank and try and get a loan. And then I'm going to secure a retail location. And then I'm going to design menus, and I'm going to design the decor, and I'm going to hire a maitre d' and make sure I have a nice sign outside. And then I'm going to open my restaurant. And then you know what's going to happen? I'm going to go out of business because I never found out whether or not anyone even wanted to eat my damn food. Do you know what you did? Because you're smarter than me. You drove your ass down to Costco, okay? You went and got a roller cart. You made your food, put it on the roller cart, and rolled it into an office building one day. And you saw how much you could sell, right? And guess what happened? Katie's Tacos took off. There were a bunch of people in line to buy them, and they were like, Katie, can you come back on Thursday next week? And guess what? Now you know you have a business, okay? You know you have a business. You did that in 48 hours, and I hadn't even been to the bank yet, right? I was still monkeying around with the business plan. So you got to get that stuff to market. You got to get it to market and see. Don't stress about your niche. Don't stress about what style or metaphysical or rocks in the roller. I could care less. You got to sell it or you'll never know. You got to try and sell it or you'll never know.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got me fired up there. You got me ranting. Yeah, go for it. Okay, there was another question in here. Gerard's asking about sculpture. Yeah, so Gerard, and I'll unmute you too. You'll need to hit the mute button in the bottom left-hand Zoom. So there is no website out there for just sculpture. It doesn't exist, right? And so if you're gonna take your sculpture online and try to sell it online, what you're gonna end up doing is having to get a normal e-commerce website. So number one, are our websites completely set up to sell wall art? Yes, they are. That's what they've been built to do. But at the same time, you can sell any normal item in them just like any other e-commerce situation, right? Shopify, Squarespace, any of the rest of them. So you can do that. The thing is, though, is you don't have a website problem. You got a marketing problem, right? So you need to learn how to market that sculpture, how to get the word out that sculpture is available for sale. And that's the biggest problem you have in the short term to solve. It's not any fancy 3D spinning the sculpture around on some sort of like mechanical pivoting thing. Like, no, you got a marketing issue and you got to get to going on your marketing. That's it. Looks like we lost your video. I don't know if we have your audio or not. I might just shut your camera off because you probably have some bandwidth issues wherever you are.
Got a slow feed, but yeah, I got what you said there. That's good.
Yeah, because there's not a single solitary website that I'm aware of that caters to sculpture. But everyone always gets wrapped up in thinking they have a website problem, right? And Shopify, which is one of the biggest companies in the entire world, is actually, in terms of market capitalization, the biggest company in the entire country of Canada, which is pretty interesting. There's a bunch of blog posts about like the percentage of Shopify store owners that fail. Okay. And I've seen it's as high as like 99%. And it's not a knock on Shopify. Their product's great. It's a knock on the fact that everyone thinks that in today's day and age, they have a website problem, right? Like that's the solution, that somehow if you're on this platform or you're on that platform, that's going to create a sustainable business for you, and it's not. You know, even if I had the best bells and whistles, Gerard, freaking sculpture platform anyone's ever seen in the world, you could put all your art on there right now and nothing would change because no one's going to the site, because it's a marketing issue. It's an attention issue, right? So you got to just start in on your marketing and don't worry about how it's going to sell. I mean, live video in Zoom, you know, Zoom calls just like this are gobbling up the world, right? Gobbling up the world right now. It is becoming the single solitary best way to sell anything. And, you know, I do my little hand thing here. What is the best way to sell art or photography or jewelry or, yes, sculptures? Face-to-face, in person, right? No one is disputing that. No one ever will dispute that. Problem, okay, Jared and I, we are human beings. We are geographically fixed on this earth, okay, and we can't have 27 conversations at once. So you have to have a website. Website solves for those problems. In between those two is selling live via video like we are right now, right? So your job really is not to worry about the website in the slightest. Your job is to find people that want to have a face-to-face video call with you where you can talk about the sculpture, right? Grab that thing,
Okay.
have that, be talking to them like that. Let me show you the sculpture, Patrick. Swivel around like that, show the whole thing off, right? It's that easy in today's day and age. And it's less about the website than it is about those conversations anyway. I mean, what does your average piece sell for?
Average, I would say about 20,000.
Yeah. So let me know. Let me know.
Bronze. They're bigger, like 6 foot tall.
Yeah.
Little.
And I'm trying to figure out how to kill your camera so that we get clean audio on you. Hold on, I got it. So you know, let me state it yet another way. Name me the last time somebody bought one of those pieces without having multiple conversations with you.
Yeah, it's
never happened.
Yeah,
it's never happened. There's a rule out there that exists in, call it e-commerce world, that once your product gets over a certain price point, and let's just say for the sake of argument, it's around like $2,000. Okay. Once your product gets above $2,000, and don't get me wrong, like Tesla is an example that breaks this rule, but there's not a lot. Then they're talking to somebody. Full stop. You have to have a sales team, right? You have to have a sales team. Like anytime your product gets above that, no one's buying that stuff without having a conversation. So really, the knowing what you do and knowing your price point, your biggest job is just to start conversations with qualified buyers. That's it. Like I could judge the health of your business based on how many Zoom calls, Messenger, whatever, however you want to do it, how many video calls you're having with prospective buyers on a weekly basis. I could directly tell you the health of your business. So your job is to start generating those. Full stop. It's what we teach all year long, by the way.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
I'd love to see the work, by the way, too, if you want to throw a link in the chat.
Sure.
But did that do it? Gerard, any other questions?
No, that was good. Definitely wasn't really thinking in that way. Just, you know, having conversations and showing it kind of like instant and live. They could even see the process, or, you know, see the finished piece, go, you know, see it up close.
Yeah.
There definitely is a lot more information that you can give through a Zoom call than
100%.
you can on any website.
100%. And like, you know, somebody that buys one of your pieces, okay, let's just not BS ourselves. High net worth individual, right? You know, loves the prestige, loves the flash of it all. Like if they buy one of your pieces, okay, and they put it in their living room of what is going to be an extremely nice house, and they get a compliment on it, are they not going to want to tell them how good of friends they are with Gerard? Of course they are, right? Oh yeah, the artist's a buddy of mine, right? Like an amazing artist, I met him, and they want to talk about you. Like you're as much a part of the sale as the piece is, right? And a lot of people, I feel like that's like one of those myths that we're being sold about today's like information e-commerce age, that like you just put things up online and people just come and buy them and they don't care to know you or who you are, have a conversation, and get to know you. And it's just, you know, it's just not the case. Not the case of what you guys are selling, especially, right? Like if you're selling, you know, a t-shirt or whatever, then that could be a different ball of wax. But yeah, I'm gonna send you, Gerard. We'll just put it in the chat. So we got this kid. Okay, I call him a kid because I'm entering the crotchety old get off my lawn old man stage at this stage of the career. But he's like 28, and he's, you know, essentially like a wave slash drone slash helicopter coastal photographer in West Florida, which is West Florida is like the panhandle, right? And he's really, really good at positioning. Okay. Like positioning his work is super high end, right? And he's very, very good at this live type of a funnel. So April's going to put a link in the chat and we'll send it. I want you to opt into his email newsletter, Gerard, and kind of see how he throws the whole thing down, right? It'll give you like a really solid baseline for how you should approach it and how you should go about it.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah. All right. What is the next question? Someone is asking, so, and who's this? This is Steve Gravano. Okay. I might as well unmute you, Steve. So what are you asking? What makes us different from Fine Art America? Is that, are you still having us on like a, what, you don't know what the difference is between us and them?
Yes.
Yeah. So Fine Art America is a marketplace, meaning you upload your images, you don't do anything, you expect them to provide you buyers, they facilitate the sale for you, they keep all the customer information, you don't get to have any of that. Art Storefronts is stevegravanoart.com. You own the domain, you own the website, you own the email list, you keep all the customer data. When a transaction goes through, it goes directly into your bank account, and you're responsible for the marketing. But it's all you, right? Like it's not a market,
Okay.
It's not a marketplace. So yeah.
Terrific. Thank you.
That tells me I really got to up my my pre-recorded video game, or Steve was tuning me out, one or the other. Either way, I'll elevator.
I thought that was the difference, is that you were the marketing end of it. You taught us how to market.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. We don't believe in the marketplace model in the slightest. And let me be abundantly clear. The hardest damn thing, it's like the same thing I said to Katie, the hardest damn thing to do in today's day and age is to get any revenue channel actually working, right? And so if you have your art up on one of these marketplaces, I don't care if it's Saatchi or Etsy or eBay or Redbubble or you know, Radiant 6 or Fine Art America, and it is producing revenue for you, that's wonderful. Keep it going. If it's not, pull your stuff off of it. If you want to keep it on there, fine. But even if it is working for you, everyone's fatal flaw is, yes, you can put your stuff up there, and if it works, that's fantastic. But that has to be, and even with the retail model, even if you're in like an actual gallery, fantastic if that's working. But that has to be in addition to, not in lieu of, running and owning your own business, owning your own contact list, building traffic to your own website. Because guess what happens? In the case of the online galleries, an algorithm change happens. You had no control over it. You used to be on page 1. Now you're on page 737B, right? You went from selling something to selling nothing overnight. You had no control over it. You didn't do anything. And you don't get to keep your customer information. That is a damn travesty, right? The gallery can decide, I have an artist that's selling better than you. And oh, by the way, now that 50% of my competitors just went out of business, I have my pick of the litter of artists that I can have in my gallery, right? The larger point is, it's like having all your retirement account in one stock, right? You can't do that. You got to be diversified, and you need to own your own website, whether it's with us or someone else. You need to be doing your own marketing. You need to be having your own email list, and you need to be able to market in perpetuity, because let's be honest, you guys are, you know, artists and photographers don't really go through midlife crises. It's like a creative chip in your brain. It's not like you're an accountant for 10 years and you're like, I hate being an accountant. I'm going to go drive a ferry as a day job and be out in the sun, right? Like, no, you're going to be an artist photographer for the rest of your life. If that's the case, then you better work on building a list of collectors that you can market to for the rest of your life. And that's how you build a big sustainable business over time. So that's what I'd say.
Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Okay. Austin's asking, in your experience, do you come across a lot of hyper-realistic drawings of photography? I'm a photographer and a colored pencil artist. Dude, that looks kind of cool. Sounds kind of cool, rather, Austin. I'd be curious whether or not you do that with actual colored pencils, or you're doing that with a pen mouse. But again, Austin, you're in the same situation as Katie, right? You're asking, you're not throwing you under the bus here, Austin. Just roll with me. But you're like my mom going to her financial advisor and saying, asking the crystal ball question, am I going to have enough money to help me live out the rest of my life? A financial advisor can't answer that. He doesn't know market conditions, how long she's going to live, pending health crises. No. My last name's Shanahan. No, Mrs. Shanahan, I can't answer that question. What I can answer is that I'm doing everything I can, conservatively. So no one can answer that question for you, Austin. No one can answer the question for Katie either. Was it Katie? No, I'm bad with names. I can't remember. She was on video, and I would have been able to see it. Yeah, it is Katie. I had it right. Only the market can tell you. Okay, you will never know. I will never know. There's no one can tell you, Austin, whether hyper realistic drawings of photography are going to sell or not sell. The only thing that will tell you is if you can get a transaction going with someone not named mother, brother, father, sister, best friend, right? You have to be able to sell that art to strangers. Someone has to pull the credit card out of the wallet and, and part with their hard-earned dollars for your art. And until you do that, it is all just conjecture. You know, my opinion is as good as your local liquor store guy, is as good as Matt's or Brian's or April's here. No one will know, right? Faber-Castell colored pencil, he says. Very cool. But yeah, you got to take that stuff to market. Otherwise, you'll just never know. There's a wall with gaining loyal customers with those venues. And what do you mean by that, Desiree? I'm curious. I'm going to unmute you, Desiree. Are you saying there's a wall with gaining, you mean loyal customers on the gallery sites? Is that what you're saying? And I unmuted you, Desiree, if you want to talk. Or Desiree. Desiree? I don't know. Maybe she doesn't want to unmute. But I can't tell if you mean that, like, when you get a customer from, one of the marketplaces that you can build up loyalty. How would you even know? You don't get the customer data, right? Or you got to see them. Hi.
Hi. I was you're talking about Fine Art America, Society 6, and all of the other platforms, which I've tried.
Mm-hmm.
And I get a little bit of money here and there, but it's like $4, $5, $6.
Yeah.
So it's a very small margin. And the thing that I don't like, that is a big pet peeve of mine, is that those companies keep all of the
contact data
information.
Yes.
You don't know who bought it. You don't get their emails.
Yes.
You have no communication with them. You can't tell them thank you. So it's a big problem for me. And that's what I don't like about
No, us too. You can't build a sustainable business that way. And this book is really good. Okay. He sells it directly on his website, which is annoying, not on Amazon. It's by Weiland. If you can't see, he's like the I think my camera does that stupid reverse thing, so now the title looks backwards to me. Does that title look backwards? Whatever, there's nothing I can do about it. Don't Be a Starving Artist by Weiland, right? And there's some conjecture out there that Weiland is actually the best-selling artist right now in the United States and has been for a couple of years. And he goes in depth in that book about how his whole ballgame is collectors, building collectors. And he defines a collector that's someone that buys an excess of 8 pieces from him over the course of their lifetime, right? And the whole ballgame, and I see this with my customers too, some of my good customers, because I've been doing this for, 5 or 6 years now. But, your job, as an artist is, one, coming to terms with the fact that you're going to be doing this 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, potentially even into your 90s. If you're in your 20s or 30s, even better. I've had 90-year-old guys come onto these Zoom calls, by the way, and be like, should I get started on the marketing? I'm like, you're 90. I love you. I love that spirit. Probably not worth it. But if you want to, I'll help you out. Like, let's get this guy in on a discount. But your job is to cultivate collectors. Okay. And, I've got this one guy. I'm gonna show his. I always show his picture. I reference him all the time because early on he was the one guy I did all the case studies with. But guy's got skills, right? You can see the image behind me. He's got skills. I've been working with him. So he's like one of the really, really early Art Storefronts customers, and he turned over the keys to everything. He's like, yeah, I want to work with you guys, and so we would use him for all our case studies. And now I have like a 5-year history with him. And what happens is he'll come out with the new series. Okay, in pre-COVID, he used to have the big dog and pony gallery show. But what he does before that is he emails all of his collectors. And what ends up happening is his collectors buy 20 to 30% of the show right before it even goes in, right? And he does this time and time and time again. And what's changing over the years are his prices just keep going up and going up and going up. Yes, John, it's Matthew Locke. And his prices just keep going up and up and up. And guess what? The collectors just go along for the ride with him, right? And so when you're selling on those marketplaces, you're not cultivating the collectors. You don't even have their information. You don't even know who they are. It's so, God, that is just, That is no way to build a long-term sustainable business, right? It's what makes the gallery relationship so exploitative. But also, too, it shows you what is the actual currency in today's day and age. It's not money, okay? It's not money. It's attention. He and or she who has the attention wins, okay? Wins. And it also comes down to, like, you know, who are some of the most powerful people in the United States right now, okay? Terrible. I hate admitting to this that I know this, but it's the Kardashians. It's the Kardashians. I hate to say it. They have so much attention on Facebook and Instagram, okay, that one of those well-endowed ladies, surgically altered ladies, could pick up a paintbrush and start painting tomorrow and probably sell $50 million worth of art in the first year. Why? Because they have the attention, right? That is the currency of the land. Whether they spend too much of the money they make or not is a story for another day. But Fine Art America has the attention. And guess what they're going to not do? Give you the attention, right? Etsy has the attention. And guess what they're not going to do? Give you the attention, right? That is the currency of today's day and age. And if you have it, you can do anything. Without it, it's like having a restaurant in the middle of Death Valley in the summer. Yeah, you got a restaurant, but nobody's coming in, right? Nobody's coming in. So that's sort of the ballgame of it all. Really got me going on that rant there too. Yeah, don't worry, Desiree, if you're choppy, it's all good. That's just Zoom land. That's how it always works. Although it works more often than not. David, good question. How does ASF get around IP issues when artists use their platform or selling portraits of famous people or musicians? That is what we like to call one of the charcoal gray areas of the particular art and photography niches. Okay. And I've seen it happen every which way. Number one, whether or not you hold the rights to the images or not is your business, not ours. You can sell what you like. What ends up happening is one of two things. Let me say one of two things and then what usually happens, okay? And I've seen this. I've gotten variations of this question about 1,000 different times with 1,000 different copyright holders and everything imaginable. You put your stuff up, you start selling it. If you make somebody angry, they will send a letter to us. Their lawyers will send a letter to us and saying, David Kepperon on your site is selling such and such. He doesn't hold the rights. You need to take that down immediately, and we'll take the particular piece in question down. That's what we would do. But we have a number of people that are doing it on a regular basis. We have a number of people. I use this one example. We have a particular gentleman, and he photographs the inside of a certain theme park that is going to remain nameless, okay? And he sells a ton of this stuff. And they are all images inside of a theme park that will remain nameless. And it might have something to do with mouse ears. And it turns out he's also in a group. And the group says, there's like a representative from the company in there that pretty much just says full stop, like, look, we understand that this is actually great marketing for us. As long as you're not selling $1 million a year worth of these, we're never going to do anything to you. So it's a charcoal gray area. Is it David? I think David. And, I am not a lawyer or an accountant or anything in between, but, there is the easier to beg forgiveness than ask permission. One way to operate. Easier to beg forgiveness than ask permission. Go for it. But what will likely happen is until you make enough noise, you're probably going to be fine, fly under the radar. And you can give you a perfect example, except a legal example, right? How many bands do you know that have thrown cover songs in early, right, to build some name ID and then built their music catalog on the back of that, right? So that's essentially what you're doing, minus actually paying the licensing fee to someone else. So yeah, it's a charcoal gray area. That's not an easy one to answer, but that's what we would do. Steven Jackson's asking, do we buy the domain on another website like GoDaddy and set it up through you? No, you do not buy it through us. Why? Because I want you to own absolutely everything. So you buy the domain, you own it. Yes, you can use GoDaddy or register or whatever else. And then you point it to your art storefronts install, obviously on our servers. And that's the best thing about it is like you own the domain. You spend a bunch of time, you get a bunch of links to your website, there's some SEO juice, and then you decide 10 years from now that there's a better service and you want to move it. Well, you don't lose anything. You have the domain, you just point it to the new site and you're off to the races, right? So that's how it should be. We are very much about the artist owning everything. That's critically important. So yeah, that's what I'd say. Okay, what else? Questions? Any others? April, I see you're back. Have you taken action subsequent to our last call? Come on, April. I unmuted you. You got to tell me. What's the update?
Okay. Yeah, I sent an email question, so I don't know if you're going to read that or if I should.
Oh, you can't
raise
email
my
me. You
hand.
can't email me. That is the biggest black hole ever. I get like thousands of them, and I'm terrible at it.
To sign up for the Zoom, it says send him an email. So.
Oh, yeah. I saw those. Did you send that today?
Yeah, just barely. But I'll just ask you. So yes.
Where
So
is
what I've done so far is I have the scan. I went and got a test print to see if the colors are right, and then right now I'm trying to decide what sizes. I've just been agonizing over what sizes I should do. So you had recommended doing 3 different sizes, 3 different materials. So, and my image is a square image.
Okay.
So right now, the ones I was thinking about doing is a 12 by 12 paper, 20 by 20 metal, and then a 30 by 30 canvas.
I would do. How would I do that? I would probably do. I gotta get my tape measure and figure out. You know, assuming that you're going to be doing the video selling, and hold on, you got to get my pile over here. Hold on. That's the perfect size. Why is it the perfect size? Because I can hold it up on this video chat. You can see the detail, and my webcam has like a really, really cool. I bought a really expensive webcam, April, that does this special zoom in feature. I'm going to show it to you now. Okay. Show the detail. Sorry, I got my green screen thing on, but you know, that's it. You can show the detail just like that. You can get a nice small one. Now it went really circusy. That was wild. And so you can get a nice small one like this and not spend a bunch of money. So I want you to put the order in today. Paper, okay, metal, canvas, and do 12 by 12, 14 by 14 tops. Done.
So you recommend just doing a small one?
Yes. Because all you're going to do is you're going to show those things, and then you're going to take the order off what you're showing. Right? Like, what size do you want? We can go big. Here's the differences. It looks great on metal. It looks great on canvas. It looks great on paper. Here's the prices. I mostly don't want you to ruminate about it for another week. I want the order in today, so you can start showing it off.
Okay.
Good.
So I don't necessarily have to have the size. I remember you at one point saying people love to see exactly what they're buying.
Yes, but that just means not the 2D image. Instead, this thing, right? The thing that's actually going to hang on the wall. This is what you're selling. You're not selling the 2D image, right? You are selling this. They want to see what they're going to get, right? You know, you can't wrap. Well, I suppose you could wrap a 2D image, but you know, showing off this. It's real. It's substantive. It hangs on the wall. It looks awesome on video. What size would you like? Well, I have a 30 by 30 space. It's wonderful. It's a square. You can scale that thing up and down any size you like, right? Any size. But just get the order in for the small ones now. It's not going to even cost you that much money, and then you can start showing it off.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay. April was on an earlier call, and I was needling her to get going immediately. But she's evaded my wrath for today because she's taken some positive steps, which I like to see. Okay, Jesse, you're up next. Go ahead, Jesse. I'll let you know when you get. Yep, gotcha.
Hi. I was late to this, so you might have already gone over this. So maybe I need to just do another from the top. But
No, it's all good. You can ask.
So did your services work only if you have your website? Does the hosting have to be with you through your servers, or can you have your hosting elsewhere?
Yeah, no, it's got to be through. It's got to be through us in our service. But I assume you have a website now that you like, and let's just say it's jesseculp.com. You could have your normal website. Excuse me. You could have your normal website there, and then you could just do store.jesseculp.com and not point to your art storefronts install, right? We'll call it a bolt-on, but that's one way of doing it. So you have all of the various different options available to you. But yeah, that's how we do it.
Based on the hosting and the server, I have a hosting company that I really like.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. I might reach out to you after this. So okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, and if you do, I think it's a good time. I think we're going through a price increase because we just keep adding more and more services. I don't think it happens till the end of the month. So if you get a demo request in between now and the end of the month, you can lock in the lowered pricing. But don't feel like that's like a pushy sales technique, only if you're ready. But if you are ready and you're contemplating it, it makes sense to put it in and get a phone call in and decide whether or not it's a fit. But that's only on the higher level plans, and the lower level plans we're not raising the price. So you don't have to worry about that. Yeah. Oh, back for round 2, Katie. I see what's up. Let's go. You got to unmute, Katie. You got to unmute. Mike in the bottom left.
Got it.
Okay.
Got me?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So we're responsible for marketing our website, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, I mean, with storefront, like, so who are we marketing to? Just like who we have existing on our personal social medias, or
Yep.
how are people going to find my stuff? Are they just going to go to Art Storefront, or what's going to
Nope.
look like?
Great question. You're 100% responsible for it, but yeah, we teach you all year long, and we have like a whole bag of tricks on how to do it, right? Like how to grow your email list, how to grow your social following, how to leverage giveaways, how to go live on Facebook. Yeah, and we teach you how to do it all year long. So what happens is you start in on your marketing, you get better at it. We leverage just about every hacky, tricky thing that you can do on all of them. And it's less about what you do and more about how many hours you can devote to it consistently, 52 weeks a year.
Got it.
Yep. And that's where everyone else usually fails too. And I'm saying not necessarily our customers, but just people in general, is everyone gets like, this is going to be my year. I'm going for it. It's going to be awesome. And then they work on their marketing for like 2.5 months. And then what do? They don't get the results that they want, and they quit because no one's there to slap you and say like, stop, you have to do this for 52 weeks in a year. And I don't care if you only have 2 hours a week to give me. Give me 2 hours a week for 52 weeks in a year, and I will show you what's possible. Don't do that. You're not going to get anywhere, right? You have to have the time to be able to consistently market, and consistently market for years. It doesn't come easy, but you put in that work, you do it consistently, you make sure you're focused on the high ROI's return on investment marketing activities, i.e. like, don't spend any time on Pinterest. You gotta spend time on Facebook and Instagram. It's where all the attention is. We teach you how to do that. Then it's just a game if whether or not you're willing to grind it out, Katie.
Gotcha.
Good. I like that you're wearing.
What I needed to know.
I like that you're wearing a cattle hat in Oklahoma. It seems very fitting to me.
My dad, Fred Krueger.
Fred Krueger. Strong name.
Fred Krueger, I know, right?
Fred Krueger does not sound like the kind of guy that you want to talk trash to. I mean, Fred Krueger probably.
Yeah. No, that was fun growing up with. Caller ID, calling somebody, be like, ah.
Oh, that's so. I was correct. It's not just a name. Like, you definitely don't want to mess with Fred Krueger.
You definitely don't want to mess with Fred Krueger. Yeah,
no. Yeah. That needs to be cast into a movie. That's just
I know, right?
That name just screams tough all over it. Like, look, don't mess with me, okay? Don't make me go get Fred, okay? Don't make me go get Fred.
No, the whole town knew. I grew up in a very small town, so we're back in Oklahoma. I was in Texas, and so now we're just trying to get this. I'm not going back to corporate, so I know a lot about marketing, but I don't know how to do art marketing. So
that's all right. That's what we teach. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast too. That's a great way to get like all the latest and greatest, and obviously it's free. And you could start with episode 1 on there, and get a pretty doggone good education on how to market, and just listen to it. It all works. Works. Okay. And definitely don't mess around with Fred. Don't mess around with Fred, Wesley. You hear me? Don't you mess around with Fred.
Yeah, I don't know who he is, Patrick, but if I ever run across him, I won't mess with him.
No, me either. I'll buy him a drink.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Have you thrown out the fishing boat analogy yet? Because I got a line in the water question for you today.
Yeah, go ahead.
So it was a few workshops ago. There was a very enthusiastic young man who made the statement that TikTok was like the best place for artists to do marketing, to attract a crowd, and to I guess throw another line in the water, right? I got my line out in Facebook, I got my line out on Instagram, I got my email list is growing. I'm doing all the things that I think you teach starving artists or starving gallery owners to do. But what about TikTok? You seem to be intrigued by the whole thing. I took a look at it. Well, actually, I ran the idea.
I'm not intrigued in the slightest. I am extremely anti-communist China personally, and I don't trust them any further than I can throw them. And this is not Chinese people, quite literally the CCP. Okay, they own a portion of that company. They get all of the data. There's been multiple reports about how much data that particular application harvests. They look at your contacts. They get detailed information about your Wi-Fi. They send it back to the mothership. They're now building algorithms to come and get us. Don't make me put my foil hat on. I don't like TikTok. I don't like the CCP. I will never advocate for it. I turn my nose up in disgust at it, but I'm also contrarian, and I do realize that some people are getting attention. The gentleman in question, Morgan, no, his name's Eric, I think, and his wife's Morgan. They've since signed up. His wife is using it less for selling art, and she is more like, you know, like a rad influencer type. So she's doing a great job at it. Knowing you, Wesley, guys, Wesley's been on these things a bunch of times. Wesley, unless you're going to be doing music videos, okay, or super sweet dance moves, okay, or some other serious creative, I would not mess around with TikTok. Okay, stop looking at the shiny objects. Stick to the bread and butter that we know works. And I mean that.
Okay.
I mean that not in jest. I mean that with all seriousness.
No. That's I knew I kind of expect. This is what my social media expert here told me. I have a 16-year-old daughter who understands.
She gets it.
TikTok and Instagram pretty well.
I really want them shut down.
Don't waste your time. She's even questioning if I should bother with Instagram, which is a good question because my sense of Instagram is you got all the creative minds converged on Instagram. But do any of us buy anything from each other? And I mean, the real money in terms of people who are actually going to buy fine art are on Facebook, not Instagram.
No, they're both important. They're both really, really important. Look, the reality is that once you know the parents post all the photos of the kids on there, then the grandparents get on there, and that brings pretty much the whole high net worth segment. Let alone all the aforementioned Kardashians and the sports superstars and everyone else is on Instagram. So. Again, you have to be objective about it. Do they have the attention? Yes, they do. So it's a pond that we need to fish in. It's a particularly relevant pond when we start talking about paid traffic and advertising. It's very effective in that capacity as well. And again, your programming on it is off. Your programming on it is off in the sense that do people buy directly off of Instagram? No, nowhere near as much Facebook, unless you're selling a special sweet pair of pants that you can spill water on. Why you would need that, I still don't know, but I get that damn ad all the time. Who's spilling water on their pants? Okay, I don't need a pair of pants you spill water on, or or all of the various different kitschy things like a super sweet cup holder for your bike, or little tiles that you put on your wall, or some sort of a thing that's going to prevent me from ever having to water a plant again. Those little kitschy type of swag type of $100 or less buys. Yes. I have small kids that are trying to, figure out potty training and wiping. Sorry to take it to that level, but they got my wife on some little thing called the Tushy, which is like $100 bidet that I had to install last weekend. So yes, people buy things on there. Okay, they do, but that is not how art is sold. Okay, they are not going to be flipping through their Instagram and go, "Oh my gosh, this piece of art is amazing. I need to buy it." You know what they might do? They might be flipping through Instagram and go, "Oh my gosh, this piece of art is awesome. I'm going to follow them." And then what happens? You continue to post. They see all your posts. Then they start to like and see what you do. And then they're like, okay, 2 months later, I'm going to go to their website and get on their email list. And then they're going to get on the email list. And because you're emailing and marketing regularly, you're sending one email a week, one email a week, one email a week. Then Valentine's Day comes around. You're having a Valentine's Day sale. Then they buy, Wesley, because that is how art is sold. Get off TikTok.
Yeah, no, I was never on it, but thank you. Great advice as always, Patrick. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Wesley. You got to be on there. You can't be emotional about who has the attention. We have to go there. We have to fish in the ponds, see attention wars, and they've got it, right? Instagram's got it. Facebook's got it. Google has it. The marketplaces have it, which is why they don't give you any of your doggone contact. The art galleries have it, right? They've got that crazy spot on Main Street in which a whole bunch of high net worth individuals come in because it's a killer spot, or they've been cultivating the list for the last 15 years of high net worth individuals. They have the attention. You don't, so they can do what they want. They set the terms, right? 50-50 split. You don't get to keep any information about your customers. So that's the ballgame. Yeah. That's what I got. Any other questions? Anything? Parting shot? I got to look at one last thing. Ann Davis says, I would only want a real painting, ! Now all caps, okay? Never a print. That's wonderful, Ann. I appreciate that. And you are certainly entitled to your own opinion. What I would caution you from doing is making those opinions like you know your customers, okay? You don't know your customers. Only your customers know themselves. And I see this opinion all the time. I will never sell prints. It'll cheapen my work. Okay, good. Then build a viable art business, Anne. I'm picking on you now. Build a viable art business, Anne, only on originals. Ready, set, go. You got one product in your store. It's expensive. Versus build a viable business, Anne, on having various different price points, various different media types, and originals. Like, it's not even close. It's not even close. You cannot go into trying to start or be successful in an art or photography business telling yourself ahead of time that you're only going to sell this one thing, or this one thing doesn't work, or not be open to trying various different media types and services and revenue sources. Recipe for disaster. Yeah. All right. We don't leave it there. Guys, thanks. It was fun. I'm going to send you a bunch of links. Feel free to come back and join one. If you'd like to request a demo, speak to our outreach team, you can certainly do that. There will be links. There's links everywhere. Who am I kidding? Even our links have links. Even our pop-ups have pop-ups. Okay, Ramona, I like it. 23rd hour question. Getting in the game. Go ahead, Ramona. You have to unmute, Ramona. It's bottom left-hand corner of the mic icon. I'll let you know when you get it. Are you there, Ramona? Oh, she raised her hand. It could have been a cell phone in the pocket hand raise. Okay. Ramona in 3, 2, 1. All right, guys. I think we'll leave it there. Thanks. We'll email you the replay. We'll email you all the links. If you have questions, you can respond to the email. I do actually see those emails, just not like the cold emails. I see the ones with the Zoom response. So there was a follow-up question. You can certainly check it out. Yeah, if you do podcasts, highly recommend you subscribe to the podcast. We dump like the podcast episodes in there, and then this other show, Art Business Mornings, and sometimes random rants. So there's a ton of good content there for free, and you can kind of just look at it, and you see a title that piques your interest, give it a listen. And yeah, I think we'll leave it there. Thanks, guys. Everybody have a great